Welcome, everybody, and welcome to this session on implementing advanced light source facilities in Latin America and the Caribbean for sustainable socio-economic development. And I would like to introduce our panelists today. So we have Graciela Diaz de Delgado from Venezuela. We have Diego Lamas from Argentina, Carlos Cabrera Martinez from Puerto Rico, Abel Moreno from Mexico, and Richard Garrett from Brazil. This session is organized by two scientific unions, the International Union of Pure and Applied Physics and the International Union of Crystallography, IUCr and IUCr, together with UNESCO. And this is sponsored and organized by Project LAAAMP. And I'm going to introduce you this project before leaving the table to our panelists. And before starting, I want to tell you that we have a call open at the moment for any team from a team composed by a professor and a student who can spend 2 months in any of our partner advanced light sources. So we have this call which is open now with deadline 15th of November, and as you see, this is open to teams from the Caribbean and from Mexico. So we have in the panel the coordinator for this call for the two regions. So if you're interested and you know anyone, particularly young students who wants to apply to spend 2 months in a synchrotron facility, please contact us at any moment. The LAAMP is a project. LAAMP stands for Light Sources for Africa, the Americas, Asia, and Middle East project. And this is the executive committee. So in addition to me, it's Sekazi Mtwinga, who is the chair at the moment of the executive committee, and he is the chair also of the Commission for Development of IUCr. I'm there as, in my capacity as Executive Outreach Officer of the IUCr, and Sandro Scandolo, who is from ICTP and also IUCr. So what is this project? It is a project that has been funded by the ICSO, which has been now merged with the ISSC and is now called International Science Council. And this is a project for a triennium for 3 years, which seeks to facilitate active collaboration between scientific unions. So the idea is to involve unions to work together in order to develop science education, outreach, and public engagement activities. So there were only 3 projects approved. One is ours, about light sources for emerging regions. One is for gender gap in science, and the other one is pedagogical tools for climate studies. The full project of our initiative is utilization of light source and crystallographic sciences to facilitate the enhancement of knowledge and improve the economic and social conditions in targeted regions of the world. So we were awarded 300,000 euros for a period of 3 years. And the idea is to implement, to work for improving the scientific infrastructure in these targeted regions. Why did we decide to apply for funds for a project like this? Well, the answer is in this map, where you see the location of all the synchrotron facilities in the world. And if you look at this map, you will immediately spot that there are some black areas. So if you look at Africa, not a single synchrotron facilities in the entire continent. Southeast Asia is also almost empty, but if you look at the region we are talking about in these days here at the CiLAC, you see that we only have one synchrotron which is in operation in Brazil, and another one in construction or commissioning, I would say now, which is again in Brazil, I would say in the same location. No other facilities in the entire Latin American Caribbean region. So it is important that we discuss in order to understand what we can do in order to improve this condition. And the reason is that a synchrotron facility, a large-scale facility, is not only a scientific infrastructure, but it's much more, because light sources, in a sense, contribute to the sustainable development, because they contribute to the development of a critical mass of scientists, of researchers, so able to innovate for the future, develop regional and international cooperation, trigger partnership. Of course, this means also promoting science diplomacy, because all the facilities, I mean, they can be built only if there is a large participation from many countries, from a large community. So in this sense, how UNESCO uses to say, they promote peace at large, because it's a matter of international cooperation. Of course, they improve education, because if you want to do top-level science, you need to work on education for the youngsters, reinforce knowledge-based policy making, as I was saying, and reduce the scientific divide between North and South. So if you go back to the map, you see that the South doesn't have many of these facilities. So in order to give an idea of how a facility, a synchrotron facility, can actually work in this direction and promote science diplomacy, promote international cooperation, just think of what happened with the Sesame synchrotron. Sesame is the synchrotron for the Middle East, which just started its operation a few months ago in Jordan. And this is a perfect example of international cooperation. Just look at the countries which are part of the Council of Sesame. We have Cyprus, Israel, Turkey, Egypt, Palestine, Jordan, Iran, and Pakistan, all together around the same table to talk about how to develop science and how to develop partnership among the scientists from these countries. And the other interesting thing about Sesame, which was in a sense a project of UNESCO, is that the facility was built by using instrumentation, tools, devices coming from other countries, like Germany in particular, but also other dismissed instrumentation from other facilities were brought to Jordan in order to build this facility, which is a very good one now, and they have just started with being operational. So if you think at all this, I mean, these facilities would not happen without the partnership of many countries and without the strong effort of the institutions like UNESCO, then you understand why talking about implementing facilities like this is a way to contribute to sustainable development, looking for the agenda, 2030 agenda. And there are many of these development goals that are very easily into the framework of the synchrotron facilities, not only for the implementation and for improving the infrastructure, but also because the science that is done in the facility is actually going towards many other sustainable development goals. So this LAAAMP, this project that we have built, is actually a huge collaboration. It's not only the IUCr and the International Union of Crystallography, but it's also a partnership. We have many supporting partners that you see on this slide, starting from UNESCO, the World Academy of Science, and many other institutions. I'm not going to read all of them. And in addition to these collaborative partners, we also have a long list of participating advanced light sources, so synchrotron facilities that are actually working with us by hosting, for example, the grantees and the students, and offering some educational opportunities to these young researchers. So you see, this is also a long list, but it's also nice to see that this list is getting longer and longer, because more and more facilities are trying to get involved into the project. So the structure of the LAAAMP, we have 5 regional committees in order to develop a strategic plan for the different regions that we are targeting. So we have a strategic plan committees committee for Africa, for Mexico, and for Mexico we have Abel Moreno here in the panel. For the Caribbean, the chair of the committee is Carlos Cabrera, here in the panel as well. And then we have also Southeast Asia and Middle East. So these groups are working in order to develop a strategic plan for the future. So what we need to do in these countries for implementing scientific infrastructure, and also for evaluating all the applications that we receive for the grants. And this is the list of the tasks that we have for the LAAAMP, starting again with developing strategic plans for the region, establishing a colloquium program, so we are delivering experts in the field to many countries in order to sensitize the institutions and the scientific community about this project. We have developed a brochure, an informative brochure that you can download for free from our website. And we are, of course, as I said, promoting researcher mobility through our grants. And in the end, there will be a meeting at UNESCO. This is planned in December 2019, where we will discuss about the strategic plans for the region. The colloquium program is a very successful one. This is some activities that we have done. Diego is there and was one of our speakers in Costa Rica. And we also had other colloquium programs like in Rwanda and Benin. In this case, what we do is not only to deliver scientific talks, but it's also trying to discuss with the local institutions and trying to see if there is room for, implementing some scientific activities in the regions. This is the brochure that we have developed. It's in 3 languages. At the moment we have English, Spanish and French. You can download it for free. And if you need any printed copy because you want to distribute to your groups, or you have any events where you think it would be useful to show this brochure, just send an email. You will find the information on the website and we will send them for free. So this is possible. And just to show you some demo pages, this is how it looks like. There are pages to describe why do we care about the light sources, how do they work, but also what is the future of that, what kind of job opportunities they create, and so on. So it's a nice brochure. You can have it for free in PDF digital version from the website, or again, just ask us if you want any printed versions. I've talked already about the FAST teams, so this is what we do. We collaborate with the Advanced Light Sources, the partner facilities, in order to send teams of professor plus a PhD student. They travel together, they stay in the facility for a period of 2 months, and during this period they will be trained, they will have mentors to explain, to show them what they can do with the different beam lines that are in at the facility. So we provide some travel grants and some other money, I would say, but also all the rest is provided by other funders, by the facility itself, for example. So this is a great opportunity because it's a long period and you really get trained during this period. So this is what we have done so far in this sense. And this is already the 3rd, or I would say 4th call that we have. And the deadline, I'd like to remind you, is 15th of November. So the persons you have to talk with, if you have anyone who wants to apply from the Caribbean or Mexico, are sit here in the panel. So just contact us and ask for more information if you want to, if you have anyone who wants to apply. So just have a few photos, some photos of groups who have used this grant. And if you see some testimonials, you see people saying that it was a great opportunity to establish relationships with people of different cultures, but however sharing the interest in science and knowledge. Someone said we were the first scientific users from the Caribbean region in this facility, or the importance of relationships between colleagues in order to develop science. So people who felt to be ambassadors of their countries, like people from Senegal, for the first time making some research in a synchrotron and so on. So we also have some success stories already. So for example, as I said, Sesame has just started with being operational, and the first users ever are our grantees. So they had received a grant from LAAAMP 1 year before, and then they applied for Beam Time, and they were the first just to open Sesame for the first time. So we're very proud that this happened to some of our students, I would say. This is another interesting story coming out from the colloquium program in Benin. Following this colloquium program, the president of the Republic of Benin contacted us and said, okay, what is this about? I'm very interested about this. And he gave us, I would say, a huge amount of money to establish I would say, a laboratory, a lab to create the users of the future synchrotron facility in Africa. So we are now commissioning the instrumentation for a crystallography lab in Benin, which is going to be in Panama City, which is a hub for science, startups, education that is being built in Benin, and we hope that we will be the first lab in this for this big project. The grant that we have received in order to implement this lab is quite huge, so we are very confident that this is going to happen very soon. And this is very much connected with the African Light Source project. Okay, we are in a different region here, but this is going to move quite quickly. So there is a lot of interest for having a facility in Africa and possibly in Central Africa to serve the entire continent, the entire community. So we already have a resolution with a roadmap of the things that we want to do, and very soon in January next year we are going to have the second African Light Source Conference, which is joined with a Pan-African Conference on Crystallography. This is going to happen in Ghana. So as you see, even regions where you will say things are not moving very quickly, the investment into science in order to grow a better society, this is going to happen. So you need a lot of effort, but in the end, things are moving in this direction. Just a few more slides to say about the events that we have organized as a LAAAMP. So we have been at the World Science Forum, which is the equivalent of the CiLAC, but for the entire globe, and we had a session there about light sources and crystallographic sciences for sustainable development. Also in this case co-organized with UNESCO, and this is where our participation in the CiLAC started from. So this was a very interesting opportunity and useful opportunity to discuss about development in the different regions. And of course, thanks to that, we are now here.